Hello again, welcome to my second episode of Why Get a Mac podcast. I'm David DeFranco. The response was much better than I was hoping for, so thank you for all the questions. The first question is from Christina, aka Chachaya on YouTube. I'm deciding between a white MacBook and 15.4-inch MacBook Pro. I'm going to be a college freshman, so I need the basics. Word processor, internet, PowerPoint, and I would like music, movies, etc. for fun. I don't game or do other intense operations, so I thought a simple MacBook would be good for me, since I'm trying to stay within my budget of $1,500. Any advice? Thanks. Thank you for the question, Christina. The MacBook should be fine for you. You mentioned you only want to do word processing, internet, and PowerPoint. You would also like to do music, movies, and etc. for fun in your free time. So yes, the MacBook does seem fine for you. You mentioned you want to do word processing and PowerPoint. Microsoft does have Office for the Mac, so you'll be perfectly fine with that. I do suggest, however, upgrading to at least 1 GB of RAM. Microsoft does not have a universal binary version of Office yet, meaning it will not run natively on your Intel Mac. So you have to rely on Apple's emulating technology called Rosetta. This runs in the background. This actually emulates the program for you to run in Intel code, since it's a PowerPC application. So to do all this smoothly, I suggest having at least 1 GB of RAM. 1 GB should be plenty for you. And you said you want to stay within your budget of $1,500. That's perfect, because the MacBook sells for only $1099 US. And with a RAM upgrade and maybe some software purchases, you'll come to your $1,500 mark. So yes, the MacBook does seem perfect for you. The MacBook Pro may be overkill, so I do suggest going with the MacBook. Thank you for the question, Christina. Our next question comes from Jarvis on MySpace. Hey man, I saw your podcast on YouTube. It was great. I want to get a new MacBook Pro, but I heard they're going to switch the chips to newer Intel chips. I'm in no rush, but should I wait till they come out the new OS as well? Thank you for the question, Jarvis. Intel is coming out with new chips. As a matter of fact, a couple days ago, Intel already released these new chips. They're called Core 2 Duo. They have two separate lineups. They have the notebook chips and the desktop chips. The notebook chips will reach consumer laptops by the end of August. That's codenamed the Marum. And the desktop chips, codenamed Conroe, will reach consumer desktops by early August. So to answer your question, I think you should go for a MacBook Pro now. I don't suggest trying new hardware right away. There have been problems with the MacBook Pro when they got the Intel transition, but these problems have been fixed, most of them anyway. And the MacBook Pro already is a great machine. It's very powerful with a dual-core a chip as it is. And I think it'll be plenty powerful for what you want to do. As for waiting for the new OS, that's called Leopard for those who don't know, 10.5. Leopard isn't set to come out until early 2007. Yes, it will have many performance increases as well as new features, but in my opinion, I think you should just go for your MacBook Pro now. You're already getting a great machine with a great OS, Tiger 10.4, which is running in the background right now. It's already a great operating system, so I do suggest going for that. Leopard is still more than a few months away, so yes, it will cost money, but I think it is worth the update, the price of update once it's released. The Worldwide Developers Conference is on August 7th. Steve Jobs is expected to show off the new features of 10.5 Leopard. So if you want to wait till then to see the new features, then that's your call. I think you should go for Tiger now, since it'll be more than a few months until we see new OS. Thanks for the question. The next question comes from Chris on MySpace. Hey, I saw your video that said we could ask your questions about the Mac, and I jumped the idea. Anyway, here's what I would like to ask you. I being 17, am thinking a lot about a job in computer graphics and editing. I'm pretty much used to editing systems on my PC, Windows, but from what I've heard, there are tons of better things on a Mac versus a PC. I want something portable and not something too great, because it will be my first setup in that direction. I would like to hear your thoughts and ideas. Thanks for the question, Chris. You mentioned you want to do computer graphics. Are you talking about graphic arts, as in 2D graphics like Photoshop and Illustrator work? Or are you talking about actual computer graphics like 3D, like video games, you know, like PC and Mac games? If you're talking about just Photoshop and Illustrator work, the MacBook will be fine for you, especially since it's ultra portable. It's only 13.3 inches, so it is very light. I have used it and picked one up at Apple stores. It is very light. I like it a lot. The processor is dual core, which means it'll get great performance. However, keep in mind that Adobe, just like Microsoft, does not have the Creative Suite in Universal Binary yet. So this means you'll have to rely on Apple's Rosetta technology. For Photoshop, I suggest upgrading to at least 1.5 gigs of RAM. Maybe even 2 gigs if you want to do extreme work. It is expected that Adobe releases the Universal Binary version of its Creative Suite applications around March. I think you'll be fine though. If you can run under Rosetta until Adobe releases the Universal Binary in March, or before then I do suggest going with it, only if you can deal with it though. Don't expect the fastest machine for Photoshop or Illustrator work, but expect very fast performance in native applications such as iPhoto. Thank you, Chris, from MySpace. Next question is from Eric Marchese. I'm not going to read the entire question, but because it's a long one, save you guys some time. Basically, he says, I'm an avid user of PCs. His first computer was a PC Junior. It was a pretty good machine. Then came the E-machines. I don't even want to get into that piece of crap, he says. So, now he owns a Sony Vaio. He's had it for about 5 years, which by my calculations mean he's about 4.5 years too old. It is true, because technology is constantly, getting better. I've always been skeptical of Macs, but more and more I'm thinking of getting one. I'm into gaming, but nothing too heavy. Also into digital photography. I'm no Ansel Adams, but I like to experiment with my picture taking. He mentions this Sony Vaio takes 5 minutes to boot up. No kidding, 5 minutes. That is bad. Again, he mentions he's been skeptical of Macs, their abilities and their hardware. He once had a friend who owned an older Mac, don't know which version now, and was once in his house and he noticed the mouse only had one button, and he thought to himself, one button, what the hell good is this? I am actually using a one button mouse, as you can see here. I don't know if you can see the one button, but trust me, it's one button. I'm actually very good with the one button mouse. You get used to it. Thank you, Eric Marchese, for the question. First of all, let me start out by stating Macs fully support multi-button mice. While this may only be one button, you can control click. Look for the contextual menu. See the little contextual menu? That's by pressing the hold down Control click. That's the equivalent of right click on a Mac. However, you can hook up multi-button mice on a Mac, so the mouse you're using now will work with it. You don't do heavy gaming, you say, but for even light gaming, I suggest a 15.4-inch MacBook Pro or an iMac. However, you say you're into digital photography, you know Ansel Adams, but you like to experiment with picture taking. I use iPhoto to arrange my digital photos. I think it's a great application. iPhoto comes with every Mac. It's actually a part of the iLife suite provided by Apple. It's a great application to organize your photos, light enhancements, light editing. You can even create albums, calendars, and anything like that. You mentioned you take 5 minutes to boot up. Yeah, that's not normal. I'm sure that's from bloated, spyware and viruses you get. When you get this new Mac, you'll see a definite increase in boot up time. As a matter of fact, the Intel Macs boot up faster than any Mac before. If you have any further questions, I'm sorry if I didn't exactly answer it, but I hope I helped you. So thank you, Eric Marchese. I would love to answer more questions, so send them in. And just a little note, it makes it a lot easier if you send in your questions via voicemail, or even video voicemail. So this will save me a lot of time from reading it myself and trying to answer it. So please, if you can, send in more questions, and thank you for viewing.